Okay, so let us now proceed to the consumer theories. So, of course, in economics, we also want to understand what is how a consumer makes his or her decision. So, it will be explained in detail dito sa ating topic, which is consumer theory. Okay, so tayo, every day, we are making endless choices. So, di ba, for example, may pera tayo, we have a budget. There are so many choices na pwede nating bilhin. Kunwari, pwede isang Coke, or at isang sandwich, or ibang soft drinks, and so, napakarami. There are endless choices that we can make. And, but, how do we make our decision? We are making our decision by thinking at the margin. So sabi nga natin, di ba, one of the principles on how people make decisions is through marginal thinking. Ibig sabihin, tayong mga tao, tayong mga consumers, we are um, weighing the marginal benefit and the marginal cost of a certain decision. Ibig sabihin, iniisip natin yung ano yung additional benefit nito at additional cost nito rather than looking at the whole cost or looking at the whole benefit. Now, every time we consume something, meron tayong nakukuhang value from it. And this value is what we call utility. So when we say utility in economics, this is actually the measure of satisfaction and happiness. So the level of your satisfaction, the level of your happiness, it is what we call utility. So utility, it refers to the amount of satisfaction derived from the consumption of a commodity. So it is the amount of satisfaction derived from the consumption of a commodity. So also, ang utility, meron tayong ordinal utility and meron din tayong cardinal utility. So, cardinal. Di ako magaling dito. Okay, never mind. So we also have cardinal utility and ordinal utility. So for cardinal utility, ito yung we have a certain amount of satisfaction na nalalagay to to describe the level of satisfaction or happiness. Kunwari, 12 utils, 20 utils. Okay, so utility, ang measure unit natin or unit of measure ng utility is utils, UTILS. So para siyang kilograms, meters, centimeters, yun yung mga ka-level niya. So in utility, the unit of measurement is utils. So that is for cardinal utility. Cardinal utility, meron tayong certain amount or level of happiness or satisfaction or utility. However, ordinal utility naman is that we can, pwede natin masabi na this gives me, good A gives me more utility than good B. Ayan. So, na-order lang natin na, ito mas gusto ko to kaysa ganito. Ito mas gusto ko sa ganito. So, that is ordinal utility from the term order. Okay. Now, every time we consume something, we experience a certain level of utility. Ayan. So, for example, if nag-consume ako ng one mango, this is the utility that I felt upon sa pag-consume ko ng isang mango. So, happiness. Now, I consumed another mango. Still, may additional utility akong naramdaman. However, of course, this utility is less than the utility na na-feel ko during my first consumption of mango. Ibig sabihin, pababa ng pababa yung utility. 'Di ba? This is true naman. For example, uminom kayo ng milk tea. So first na consumption nyo ng milk tea, sarap na sarap kayo, super happy kayo, your level of happiness is really high. Pero if nag-consume na naman kayo ng another Pwedeng there is additional utility but not that much. Hindi ganon karami tulad nung sa first consumption. So, etong additional utility or the difference between your utility from the second consumption to the first consumption is what we call marginal utility. Sabi nga natin, di ba? Marginal means additional. Kaya, this is the additional utility you gain from consuming another good. So, we call this marginal utility. So, marginal utility refers to the additional satisfaction derived from consuming an additional unit of a good or service. Now, ayan. So, pwedeng the level of satisfaction from consuming 1 mango up to 4 mango looks like this. And the summation of all this marginal utility is what we call total utility or the overall level of satisfaction derived from consuming a good or a service. So, sabi nga natin, tayo mga consumers, we are marginal thinkers. And by saying na we are marginal thinkers, we are weighing the marginal cost and the marginal benefit of consuming another good. So for example, this blue box right here shows us the level of utility for consuming one good. And ito naman, yung red, this is the the cost na ginastos mo for consuming one good. And then, for your second mango, still, balik tayo dito sa first. So, dito, satisfied tayo. We want to consume one good kasi alam natin na the marginal benefit of consuming that, the benefit of consuming that good is greater than the cost na ginastos natin. And then, additional mango. Spelling sa second mango, you may want to consume it again because your marginal benefit still exceeds the cost. Ayan. So, okay ka pa sa second mango. And then, you consume another one. Pwedeng okay pa naman. Still, your benefit is still better than the cost. But, pwede kayong umabot naman sa point na hindi na worth it. Pwedeng yung additional cost mo maybe more than the additional benefit that you will feel. So, para lang yan na, kunwari, bibili ka pa ba ng isa pang burger kung nakalimang burger ka na? Alam mo naman na pag kumain ka pa ng isang burger, sasakit na yung tiyan mo. So, that belongs to the cost na din, di ba? Okay, so here makikita natin that the marginal benefit for consuming an additional good decreases. Bumababa yung additional benefit natin. So, we call that the principle of diminishing marginal utility. It means that as you consume another quantity of a certain good, your marginal utility slowly diminishes or bumababa na siya. Okay. Now, hindi naman lahat ay ika-fourth na mango tsaka nila mafe-feel na hindi worth it. Pwedeng yung iba, for them, second pa lang, di na nila kaya. Third pa lang, di na nila kaya. So, iba-iba naman. Of course, iba-iba yung level of utility natin sa mga certain goods. So, di ba medyo subjective yung level of utility natin. So, pwede naman itong ma-illustrate using a schedule. So we have here the quantity of, let's say, quantity of mango, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is your total utility. Consuming 1 mango gives you 5 utility. Consuming 2 mangoes give you 12 utility, 3, 20, and so on and so forth. And then we can compute for the marginal utility. And marginal utility is equal to the change in total utility over the change in quantity. So, paano ba siya? Ito siya. 5 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0, that is 5. 12 minus 5 is 7. Divided by 2 minus 1 is 1. 7 divided by 1 is 7. 20 minus 12 is 8. divided by 3 minus 2 is 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. So that is how we compute for the marginal utility. So make sure to understand this kasi this may also appear sa inyong exam. So let's observe this schedule. The total utility initially increases with the quantity. So habang na-increase yung quantity, nag-increase din yung total utility. And if total utility is increasing, we will notice that the marginal utility is greater than 0 or it is positive. Pero umaabot sila sa point na bumababa na din yung total utility and the marginal utility becomes negative. Yan. And kaya siya naging negative, kaya nag-fall ito, this is because of marginal utility. So, di ba sabi natin, as we consume an additional unit of a certain good, yung additional benefit na nafe-feel natin slowly decreases. Okay. Now, if yung objective ng consumer is just to obtain the highest utility possible, so, let's say, chocolate yun. So, pwedeng mag-consume lang siya ng 6 units of that kasi nga, at 6 units, yun yung may highest total utility. However, in real life, marami tayong mga constraints. So, sabi dito, goods are not free. Siyempre, hindi mo naman pwedeng i-consume yung 6 na chocolate na yun kasi nakadepende ka din sa presyo nun. Baka hindi mo afford yung presyo nun. Meaning to say, we also need to consider our income or our budget. So, titignan natin paano na aapektuhan ng income or budget and also ng price yung decision natin on how many units of a certain good ang bibilhin natin. So, let's have this as an example. For example, you have a 50 peso budget and you are going to buy pancake and coffee. Pancake costs 10 pesos and coffee costs 5 pesos. So, ito yung price nila. Of course, yung price, depende yan sa kung input, ano yung mga ginamit na expertise doon, the specializations and all. Okay. Now, given your 50 pesos na budget and considering the prices of the pancake and the coffee, meron tayong iba't ibang combination of pancake and coffee na pwedeng i-consume. Pwedeng 5 pancake, 4 na pancake at 2 coffee. Pwedeng lahat ng yung 50 pesos, 10 coffee. Pwede ding 4 na coffee at 3 pancake. Ayan. So, there are many combinations na pwede natin i-consume given the budget that we have. Now, let us plot this in a curve, in a graph. So, on the y-axis, meron tayo ditong one of the good, which is the coffee. On the x-axis, we have here another good, which is the pancake. Ayan. So, itong line that is formed by the different combinations of pancake and coffee na pwede natin i-consume using the 50 peso budget is what we call the budget constraint. So, ibig sabihin ito, hanggang dito lang yung pwede nyong i-consume. Ibig sabihin din ito that those combination of goods of coffee and pancake inside this one is or costs less than 50. Ibig sabihin, afford natin siya kasi less than 50 siya. Ibig sabihin, afford natin ng 6 na coffee at 1 pancake. Afford natin ng 4 na coffee at 3 pancake. Ayan. And it will only cost us, 4 na coffee and 2 pancake. And it will only cost us less than 50. However, yung mga combination of goods outside this budget constraint is of course non-attainable. Hindi natin yun kayang ma-achieve. Ibig sabihin, hindi tayo pwede maka-consume ng 8 coffee at 5 pancake kasi labas na yun sa budget natin. That will cost us more than 50 pesos. Okay. Now let us look at these 2 points. So here we will notice that from 3 pancakes and 4 coffees, in order for us to gain another pancake, para maging 4 yung pancake, we need to give up 2 coffees. Okay, again, in order for us to gain another pancake, we have to give up 2 coffees. So this is what we call the trade-off. So ito 'di ba yung sinabi natin na in order to gain something, we have to give up something that is trade-off. Pero here we are already giving a value na na 1 pancake is for 2 coffees. Ayan. 1 pancake is for 2 coffees. And saan natin to makikita? Makikita natin to dun sa prices nila. Of course, 1 pancake costs us 10 pesos and 2 pancakes also cost us 10 pesos. So, that is actually the slope of this graph, -2. Pero here, we are only looking at the absolute values, so 2 siya. So, syempre, bababa to ng 2 units. And, magdadagdag, bababa siyang 2 units of coffee and dadagdag ng isang unit of pancake. So, that is also what we call the opportunity cost. Okay, now the question is, ito bang trade-off na to, that the 1 coffee is a 2, ay the 1 pancake is a 2 coffee, will it change kapag nagbago din yung price, kapag, I mean yung budget, kapag nag-increase yung budget mo to 70 pesos, do you think itong trade-off na 1 pancake is to 2 coffees, magbabago din ba siya? So the answer is no. The trade-off now 1 pancake is to 2 coffees is given by the market's prices. So changes in your income do not affect the relative price of the goods. So, ano mangyayari? From this line here and a budget of 50 pesos, when our budget increases to 70 pesos, this is how it will look like. So, mag-shift lang siya to the right. And still, you have to give up 2 coffees in order to gain another pancake. Still the same ang trade-off nila. Pero paano naman kapag nagbago yung presyo ng coffee? For example, we have 50 peso budget and ang nagbago naman is yung price ng coffee. Diba sabi natin, the trade-off will only change if there is also a change in the prices. So, this time the trade-off is 1 pancake is to 4 coffee. So, ano mangyayari dun sa graph? Ang tendency is that mag-shift yung graph pero yung coffee ay magiging ganito yung graph niya. Kasi this time, if walang pancake, if 0 ang pancake, 20 na coffee ang kailangan. Kasi nga, ang coffee is already 2.5. 2.5 times 20 is 50. So, 50 ang cost dito. Pero yung pancake, hindi siya nagbago kasi nga, 10 pesos pa din siya. Okay. However, syempre, when we make our decisions, our consumption decisions, hindi lang tayo nakadepende sa budget, hindi lang tayo nakadepende sa presyo, but also sa preferences natin. Gusto ba natin ang isang produkto or hindi? Ganon. So, we also have our preferences that we also need to consider. So, basically, sabi lang ng consumer theory, our consumption decision is influenced by our preferences and as well as our budget constraint. Okay, so when we say preferences, diba, economists, they assume that people have taste and preferences for goods and services that guide their choices of what to consume. Diba, pwedeng yung iba, pwedeng yung chocolate sa inyo is masarap siya, gusto niyo siya over, let's say, milk. Pero ako mas gusto ko milk over chocolate. So we also need to consider that. May iba't iba tayong preferences in life. So goods are ranked according to how much pleasure consumers derive from consuming them. So ira-rank natin yung level of preferences natin. Okay, so we have two preferences relations. We have the first one, which is strict preference relation. So sabi dito, given two bundles A and B, define a strict preference relation as follows. For an individual, A is preferred than B if and only if A is better than B. We say A is strictly preferred to B. So, kapag strict preference relation, ibig sabihin, may preferred siya, may gusto siya sa dalawang product, may mas bet siya, kanyan. So, let's say, yung banana is mas preferred ko siya kesa sa mango. So, this is strict preference. Meron kang preferred over two options. We also have the indifference relation. So, indifference relation naman, by the way, sa strict preference, we use the greater than symbol to to illustrate yung preference natin. And then, we also have indifference relation. So, when we say indifference relation, ibig sabihin lang nito, wala kang mas preferred sa dalawa. Kung sa strict preference, meron kang preferred sa dalawa, dito sa indifference relation, wala kang mas preferred sa kanila. Ibig sabihin, both of these goods give you the same level of pleasure. So we use this symbol to illustrate indifference. It says here that banana is indifferent to mango. Parehas lang yung level of pleasure that you receive from consuming these two goods. Okay. Now, meron ding mga properties ang preferences natin. So, sabi dito, first one is completeness. So, when we are facing a choice between two bundles of goods, A and B, yung consumer, they can rank them so that either A is greater than B, or A is preferred than B, or B is preferred than A, or A is indifferent to B. Ibig sabihin lang nito, hindi ibig sabihin nito is one is always better, ha? It means that tayong mga consumers, we can make our decision. Alam natin if we prefer one good over another, and alam din natin if we prefer them both. Yun lang ang mean by completeness. We also have the property to. So, sorry for the mistake in the sa PowerPoint. Properties of preferences. We also have another one which is transitivity. Ibig sabihin lang nito, if you prefer banana over mango and you prefer mango over apple, therefore, you prefer banana over apple. So, this is one property of preferences. Another property is that more is better. Ibig sabihin ito, all else the same, more of a commodity is better than less. Ibig sabihin, you prefer 3 bananas over 2 bananas. You prefer 2 bananas over 1 banana. Ayan. Now, here, we are going to illustrate natin yung preferences natin. So we have here the indifference curve. So this is another curve that you will learn here in economics. So the indifference curve is a graphical set of all bundles of goods that individuals views as equally desirable. Di ba sabi natin, when we are indifferent, we experience or we prefer them both equally. So, kaya, indifference curve. Ayan. So, what does an indifference curve looks like? It looks like this. Pag ganyan siya. And, the symbol for these points is A, indifferent to B, indifferent to C, indifferent to D. Ibig sabihin, itong iba't ibang combination of goods na to is desired equally ni consumer. Again, this is for the Coke, quantity of Coke, quantity of a pizza. So, Ibig sabihin nito, kunwari ito, 6. Kunwari 6 to. 6 pizzas and 3 cokes is equally preferred to 3 pizzas and 6 cokes. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng combination of goods in this line gives the consumer the same level of pleasure. Okay. Now, si indifference curve, meron din siyang tinatawag na indifference map. So, indifference map is a complete set of indifference curves that summarizes a consumer's taste. So, this is one indifference curve, two indifference curve, three, four. And one of the properties, diba sabi natin, more is better. Ibig sabihin, kunwari ito, 4 and 1.5. 7 and 2. We prefer yung combinations dito sa indifference curve 2 kesa sa combinations here in indifference curve 1. We prefer the combinations of goods in IC3 than IC2. We prefer the combination of goods in IC4 than IC1 to 3. Ibig sabihin, mas malayo dito sa corner na to, mas preferred natin yung set of goods doon. Okay. Now, the curvature of the indifference curves tells us about the rate at which an individual is willing to trade off between the two goods. So, makikita din natin dito yung trade-off. The same din doon sa budget constraint kanina, wherein the trade-off is shown by the slope. Dito naman, makikita natin that as we move down along a convex indifference curve, this is the indifference curve, an individual is willing to trade decreasing amounts of one good for one more unit of the other good. Kanina, nakita natin based on the relative prices that since straight line yun, merong fixed number of or quantity of a good na willing siyang i-give up in order to gain something. However, kapag ganito naman na yung curve, indifference curve, makikita natin na in order to gain another, for example dito, in order to gain another Coke from 1 to 2, kailangan niya mag-give up ng pizza na ganito karami. However, habang nag-move tayo pababa ng curve, we can see here, in this case, that in order to gain another Coke, konting pizza na lang ang willing siyang i-give up. Okay, so that is what we call the marginal rate of substitution. So it measures the rate at which a consumer is willing to exchange one good for another while maintaining the same level of satisfaction or utility. So essentially, it shows how much of one good a consumer is willing to give up to obtain an additional unit of another good without changing their overall happiness. So take note of this term, the marginal rate of substitution. So, pwedeng lumabas yan sa exam. Okay. Now, ganito lang yan. At different points in the indifference curve, iba-iba naman yung marginal rate of substitution. For example, here, from this point to this point, to gain an additional unit of pizza, kailangan niya mag-give up ng 4 na coffee. As the point goes down, ayan, in order to maintain that level of happiness, habang nagdadagdag siya ng additional pizza, bumababa din yung willing siyang i-trade off. This is, of course, again, to maintain the same level of happiness, the same level of utility. Okay. Now, iba't iba ang itsura ng ating, indifference curve. Meron tayong indifference curve na ganito yung itsura niya. And ganito ang itsura ng indifference curve, hindi siya pa curve. This is for goods that are complete substitutes. Ibig sabihin, pag nag-give up ka ng 1 apple, 1 orange din ang idadagdag. Pag nag-give up ka ng 2 apple, 2 oranges ang idadagdag. Pag nag-give up ka ng isang orange, isang apple din yung dadagdag. So, equal yung marginal rate of substitution. Ibig sabihin, the marginal rate of substitution is equal to 1. 1 lang. Dahil perfect substitute sila eh. Kung ilan yung nawala, yun din yung idadagdag. So, ganito ang itsura kapag perfect substitutes. Please take note of this kasi this will also papasok din yan sa exam. We also have another type of indifference curve. So, yung indifference curve, pwedeng ganito naman yung itsura niya. Pa-L naman siya. Yan. So, ano ba ito? If complements daw yung good, to maintain the level of satisfaction, ganito yung itsura niya. For example, from this, let's say complements the hot dogs and the hot dog buns. For example, you cannot consume a good hot dog. You cannot, ano ba? Hindi mo mararamdaman yung same level of happiness if sobra yung hot dog or sobra yung buns na wala yung partners nila. So, kunwari ito, dalawang hotdog at dalawang bun. This is the satisfaction it gives you. It gives you the satisfaction of consuming 2 footlongs. Ayan. Now, for these combinations naman, like dalawang hotdog and 6 buns, still, the same ang level of satisfaction mo with this one. Bakit? Kasi dalawa lang naman ang pwede mo ditong makonsume. The same din dito. Dalawa lang din ang pwede mong makonsume. So, ganito ang itsura ng kanilang indifference curve. If complement siya, then this is the itsura of indifference curve. Okay. Okay, now we already discussed the considering budget, income, and the preferences. Let's proceed naman on how people make their choices or how consumers make their choices. So, we have here the budget line. Ito yung budget line by the shown by this broken line, and this is your indifference curve. And we have here 3 indifference curve. Alam naman natin that this third indifference curve right here is more preferred than these two. Alam natin that this second indifference curve is more preferred than this one. Okay. Now, meron tayong budget line na ito, nagko-cross siya sa dalawang indifference curve. Let's take note na yung pera lang natin is 50, in this case, $50. Let's say 50 pesos na lang. Ganyan. Alam natin na ang pwede lang natin ma-consume is yung pasok sa budget natin. And ano-ano yun? Galing sa line na ito hanggang sa loob na ito. Hindi natin pwedeng ma-consume itong nasa third indifference curve, tama? Because it is outside our budget. So, makikita natin dito, pinaghahalo na natin yung budget constraint and yung difference curve. Now, nandito tayo. Ibig sabihin, ang i-consider lang natin na indifference curve is the indifference curve 1 and the indifference curve 2. And also, your budget intersects or dumadaan siya sa dalawang indifference curve. Ito bang level na ito? Kasi nga, pag dito, gagamit natin yung buong budget natin. However, your level of satisfaction is only this much. Or, dito ba, na gamit din yung buong budget natin and your level of satisfaction is this much. So, mas gusto natin itong combination na to. Yung 4 and 3. 4 coffees and 3 pizza. Considering your indifference curves and your budget, ang pinaka-ideal na combination of coffee and pizza is 4 coffees and 3 pizzas. Okay. Ayan. 4 coffees and 3 pizzas. Ibig sabihin, whenever we make, kunwari, bibigyan kayo ng graph dyan and a budget graph for indifference curve and a budget line, the combination of goods that is ideal is the one where the budget line ang tawag dito, is tangent to the indifference curve. Hindi itong level na to. Kasi at this level, you only feel this much satisfaction. Pero sa level na to, you have this much level of satisfaction. Or, that point where the budget line is tangent to the indifference curve, it is where your slope is equal to the marginal rate of substitution. Di ba yung slope galing to sa budget line? And the MRS is the marginal rate of substitution. Ayan. So pipiliin mo daw yung point kung saan the slope is equal to the marginal rate of substitution. And at this point, the marginal rate of substitution is 2. And also, the slope is 2. Okay. Now, let's proceed to the last topic of dito sa consumer's choice. We have the utility maximization. Paano naman daw natin mama-maximize yung utility natin given some cardinal utilities? Okay. So, sabi dito, according to the utility maximization rule, a consumer should buy goods up to the point where the last money spent on every good provided the same marginal utility as the last peso spent on every other good. So, ibig sabihin, marginal utility per price ay over the peso is equal to, ayan. So, let's have this as an example. Ayan. Now, meron tayong table dito. Actually, meron ito sa exam niyo. So, please review this. So, we have here the quantity of good X. So, let's have our assumptions first. So, magde-decide tayo kung ilang good X at ilang good Y ang i-consume natin na ma-maximize natin yung utility natin considering the budget of 16 pesos and the price of good X, which is 2 pesos, and the price of good Y, which is 4 pesos. Ayan. Now, ang given sa atin dito is this ones. And also the quantity. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, dalawang goods ang tinatry nating pagpilian dito. The quantity of goods, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. And given din sa atin yung marginal utility. Again, marginal utility is the additional satisfaction na feel natin whenever we consume an additional unit of a certain. So, ito siya. Ayan. So, makikita natin from this set of marginal utility na mas mataas yung marginal utility natin of consuming good Y, tama? Rather than consuming good X. So, di ba, good X, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dito sa marginal utility, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Ngayon, ang tanong, ito ba good Y ang bibilhin natin? Ito lang ba na good Y ang bibilhin natin? Or bibili din tayo ng konting good X? So, we will see. The first one na gagawin nyo dito is to compute for the total utility. Okay, so sabi nga natin, the first thing that we need to do here is to compute for the total utility of the good X and the total utility of good Y. So, paano ba yun? Yan, so I already computed here the total utility of good X and good Y. Given natin kanina is the quantity as well as the marginal utility. So, we can also compute for the total utility. Sabi natin, di ba? Total utility is the overall level of utility or satisfaction sa pag-consume ng quantities of good. So, for example, at sa isang quantity of good X, given a marginal utility of 4, your total utility is also 4. And then for the second quantity of good X, given a marginal utility of 3, ang gagawin natin to get this total utility is just to add this 4 plus 3. We have 7. Another quantity of good X is consumed and a marginal utility of 2 is derived from it. Therefore, 7 plus 2 is 9. Another quantity of quantity of good X is consumed and the marginal utility of 1 is derived. Therefore, the total utility is 9 plus 1, which is 10. and then plus 0, edi 10. For the good Y naman, this total utility is the same then. Consuming one quantity of good Y and a marginal utility of 10, the total utility is 10. An additional quantity of good Y is consumed, a marginal utility of 8 is derived from it. Therefore, 10 plus 8 equals 18. Another quantity of good Y is consumed, the marginal utility is 6. 18 plus 6 is 24. Plus 4, 28, plus 2, 30. So that is how we compute for the total utility of each of these two goods. Now, let us compute naman for the MU or the marginal utility for every peso na ginamit natin to buy a this certain quantity of goods. So, di ba sabi sa utility maximization rule, we consume the quantity of good X and Y where MUX over PX is equal to MUY over PY. So let's compute muna ito. This is just marginal utility divided by the price, or this is the marginal utility divided by the price of that good. Marginal utility of good Y divided by the price of good Y. Yun lang yan. So let's compute. So, kanina wala to. Nilagay ko na lang dyan para makita niyo na agad. So, MU over P is 4, marginal utility of 4, divided by the price of good X is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. 0 divided by 2 is 0. For the MU over P of good Y, we have 10 divided by 4, since 4 peso is the price of good Y, that is 2.5. 8 divided by 4, that is 2. 6 divided by 4, that is 1.5. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 2 divided by 4 is 0.5. So, ang tanong, ang tanong di ba natin kanina is, dahil nga the marginal utility of good Y is greater than the marginal utility of good X. Tanong, will the consumer consume all his budget on good Y? Will it maximize his utility? So makikita natin yan dito. So our decision whether to consume something, whether to consume a quantity of good X or good Y depends on the marginal utility per peso. Or ano yung additional unit of utility na nararamdaman natin for every peso na ginagastos natin for this certain good. And it is shown by these values. So, paano tayo magde-decide? Okay. Again, considering we have 16 peso budget. So, anong una natin bibilhin? Good X ba or good Y? Nakita natin na when we consume one quantity of good X, yung additional unit natin or the utility natin for every peso na nagagastos natin dun sa good X is 2 utils. Pero pag nag-consume tayo ng good Y, the utility per peso na kukuha natin is 2.5. So ano ang mas malaki? Mas malaki yung good Y. So our decision is to consume good Y. Ito. So, 1 unit of good Y. And 1 unit of good Y, pag bumili tayo ng 1 unit of good Y, mababawasan yung budget natin. From 16, magiging siyang 16 minus 4, this will be 12. Ayan. So, magiging siyang 12. Okay. What about, syempre may 12 pesos pa tayo. Malaki pa yung budget natin. Ano bang i-consume natin? Bibili pa ba tayo ng additional quantity of good Y? Or bibili na tayo ng good X? Ayan. So, makikita natin na pag nag-consume tayo ng good X, yung utility per peso natin is 2 utils. Pag nag-consume tayo ng another quantity of good Y, the additional utility per peso natin is also 2 utils. So, the same lang siya. And we have enough money to buy good X and good Y. So, pareho natin siyang bibilhin. So, another quantity of good Y and 1 quantity of good X. Ayan. So, sorry na sa, pag-circle. So, babawasan natin yung 12 natin ng 2 kasi at 2 pesos yung isang good X. So, that is 10. And then, babawasan din natin yung 10 ng another 4 peso kasi bumili tayo ulit ng isa pang good Y. So, that is 10 minus 4, we have 6. Yan. So, we have 6 pesos na yung budget natin. Now, let us look at the another quantity, MU over P of purchasing additional unit of quantity of good X and additional unit of good Y. So, pag nag-consume tayo ng good X, the additional utility per peso, yan, is 1.5. Pero pag nag-consume tayo ng additional unit of good Y or additional quantity of good Y, our marginal utility per peso is also 1.5. Ibig sabihin, the same ang level of utility that these two goods is providing us for this level of quantity nila. So, yung 6 peso na budget natin, enough pa ba siya to buy 1 unit of good X and 1 unit of good Y? Yes, kasi 1 unit of good X is equal to 2 and additional unit of good Y is equal to 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. So, by the time na binili na natin itong isang good X at isa pang good Y, mauubos na natin yung budget natin. So, we will consume 1 unit of good X and 1 unit of good Y. 1 unit of good X costs us 2 pesos, so 6 minus 2 is 4. And 1 unit of good Y is 4 pesos, so 4 minus 4, we have 0. Yan. So, ibig sabihin lang nito is that to maximize our utility given the marginal utility na given kanina, and also considering the budget of 16 pesos, the price of good X which is 2 pesos, and the price of good Y which is 4 pesos, to maximize our utility, magko-consume tayo ng 2 good X and 3 good Y. Okay. I hope that is clear kasi kasama din ito sa exam. Thank you.